Saludos y bienvenidos to the PGP podcast. Hey, everybody, Josh Tobar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, IZ. Garland, USA, ready to rock and roll and enjoy this time with you. So thank you very much for being here. You know, one of the things that are not, or that is not guaranteed in life is time. And you're sharing it either live right now or on the rebroadcast. So we want to thank you very much for being here with us, sharing our thoughts, sharing these awesome ideas, these great authors that are bringing to you their knowledge, their nuggets, their awesome inspirational stories, whatever it might be. But it's going to be in a couple of minutes that you will find that out. Thank you, but please make sure that's very important that you like and share. Our goal is 250, not a lot on YouTube. So please make sure that you go to Josh Toad at YouTube, like and share. Follow the little bell right there. I can guarantee you one thing. Ain't no money coming here, but the knowledge is rich as platinum. Remember that we are part of the Fantastic Four family, which has every Saturday, Super Saturday with Coach Sean Hurt. If you need someone's help with data, if you need someone's help with breaking down all your domains, that's the cat for you. If you want someone that helps you, the culture of the campus, understanding generations, understanding about your whole professional work environment, Dr. Houston and Dr. Taylor at 9:30. You can follow them Central Time. And finally, we got El Jefe at 10 o'clock Central Time. El Jefe, Principal Cafele, that Moreno, I was with Jefe at North Carolina. Woo! And we went to the Brazilian steakhouse. I think I'm still digesting some of that lamb and some of that chicken and some of those black beans. Woo! We had a good time with Jefe down there. And before I continue that, thank you, David James, one of the best conferences out there. Do it right now. Start saving your pesos for next year for NCMLE. It is a huge named conference at a little price. So I'll talk about that later on. NCMLE, it's a great conference. I highly suggest that you pay out of pocket. It's not that expensive if you start saving those that money, and you can go right there. But most importantly, we want you to come here to the PGP podcast, because it doesn't matter where you're at, whether you are in Maine or whether you are in Florida, whether you are in Alaska or Hawaii or anywhere in the 48 middle, we're all going through the same stuff. Right now, I just read or saw a vignette about how we thought that our brand new pre-K kindergarten kids were not going to be affected by COVID. Yes, them too. So there is that gap. We're facing everything around the United States with that learning gap, that whole cell phone issue that we got to take away. If you're hearing all the articles out there, it's about removing the iPads, removing the Canva, removing all the technology, because we've lost even more a step. Allegedly, there's this one article out there that states that Generation Z is the only one that has not done better academically than all the other previous generations. We're all fighting the same stuff. It doesn't matter where. There is that gap, that accordion, that discipline issue. And you know what? We need your knowledge. If you're in Nebraska, if you're in South Dakota, if you're in Maine, if you're in Wyoming, we want you to come on the PGP podcast. Reach out to Mari or to myself. We'll get you. This is not a niche show. This is not about only talking about this or talking about that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to go to a podcast that only deals with one topic, go for it. But here we deal with everything. Alumni last week, kids that were former students, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, superintendents, national authors like we have today. The Happy Show with national speakers coming and bringing to you the light. It doesn't matter. This is not a niche show. This has everything. The Health Show with educators that are working on their health. Everything is here for you. One package. It doesn't matter. Just scroll down YouTube at Josh Toad, like and share it right there, and you can get a whole article, nonstop information, articles and articles of information on those sites. But you know what? I cannot do it without a beautiful woman that I really appreciate. This woman right next to me, Dr. Moreno. What's up?
Josh, I am so happy to see you. And you know what? I feel so bad that I didn't go to see you at NCMLE, my friend. You know what? But guess what? I will definitely, mark my word. David, if you can hear me, David, I will be there next year. I promise you. I am not going to let this one go, because you know what, Josh? I missed it. And that's an awesome little cup there. I love it. And you know what? I will do it. But I am here in South Texas in the RGV. Um, Again, for those people who don't know, there's still more Texas to be seen further south of San Antonio. Most people think South Texas ends there, but hello, there's still a lot to go. So yeah, I am in Edinburgh, Texas today. I actually work here in Edinburgh Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, working on Star Boot Camp. Josh, it's star time in the state of Texas. It's about that time. So I'm working on Star Boot Camp in English and working with some Algebra 1 students. But Josh, it is so beautiful and hot down here that I miss Houston. It's only in the 80s up there. And how is it up there in the Dallas area?
It's good.
Good.
It's around that. Yeah, it's nice and warm. 70s, I think 70s something, whatever.
It's
It's
too
nice.
hot down here. I miss the 80s are pretty good.
Got it. And you know what? Normally, this is the time I go into the chinchilla moment where I give you one quick thought of real life stuff. Because remember, I'm still in the chair. I'm not in some fake believe, make believe stuff. I'm every day I'm dealing with the stuff. There's other words that you could use and stuff, but I'm in the stuff every single last day, and I have a take. But today we're not going to do that because right now I believe in iron sharpens iron, baby. So we bring in other individuals to help each other. And there's this awesome conference coming up around the corner in the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth. And I've got the top person right here to talk about it. We'd like to welcome to the show a past guest of the PGP podcast, Esperanza Hills. Thank you for being here. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the conference.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate you. You're always so willing to help. And like you said, iron sharpens iron. And I'm grateful to get to know you and to be a part of your amazing network. So our Beam Symposium, our conference is coming up in 2 weeks. It is right around the corner. It's April 11th. And we're going to be here in the DFW area. We represent like Region 10 and Region 11. And we're on April 11th in White Settlement, which is kind of Fort Worth-ish, White Settlement area. And we have an awesome lineup. It is a great opportunity to join other powerful educators in the area, leaders, advocates. We're all committed to equity and excellence for our multilingual learners. As you can see, the title of our conference is Con Ganas y Con Gritos, reclaiming space, reclaiming voice, right? These are tough times for us. They always are. And we always rise above, right? And so that's kind of the theme of our conference. And we welcome everyone who wants to join us in the fight, right? The symposium brings together inspiring keynote speakers. This year we have Andres Russo, Dr. Andres Russo. And then we also have Dr. Dorito. If you know Dr. Dorito, she's going to be one of our keynote speakers as well. And obviously we have innovative sessions where we have leaders from all across the DFW coming to present our breakout sessions for you guys. Amazing networking opportunities. Last year, Josh got to come firsthand and experience it. And this year he gets to be a presenter with us. And we're so excited to have him, right? So come, be ready, learn, connect, leave empowered and inspired. That's what we love to do, right? Coming together with people who believe, just like we believe, is a spiritual experience, I like to say, right? You leave with your cup full and you're ready to go forth and build more inclusive environments for our students, right? So you can join us. You can register to participate. Still, registration is open and available, and you can be part of the movement as we continue bringing, all of us together, breaking barriers and helping shape a better future for our students.
Esperanza, what's the website so people know how to register?
It's www.beamdfw.org/symposium.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we see you there. Yeah.
Is there anything like people could look forward to? And everybody out there, just to let you know, this is why it's so important that you become yourself aware of your surroundings. What I mean by that, this is my 33rd year, and last year was the first time I heard about Beam. Mm-hmm. There's so many things out there. And when I arrived to the conference, I was like, wow, what an amazing event. There was just people all over, great feeling, great climate to what was going on. So Esperanza, where is it again? What White Settlement, Texas? Is that in a high school?
White Settlement, yes, it's at Brewer High School. And our conference brings hundreds of people together. We were at over 600 participants last year, so you
Wow.
get to experience what it's like to be a bilingual ESL educator here in the DFW. Again, regions 10, regions 11 represented. We welcome anyone from anywhere, obviously. And in our era, it doesn't matter where you're at, where you live, you can travel, you can join us. It's worth it. I believe it's worth it. And again,
Absolutely.
just the feeling you get from being with people who believe just as you believe, exactly how you believe. And, you know, it's a movement going forward, right? And so you get a ton of things, right? We feed you breakfast, we feed you lunch, you get a lot of swag, you'll get a shirt to represent us, to go, get the word out and let people know who we are. Like Josh said, he didn't know who we were. And I invited him to the conference and he got to see everything firsthand. And here we are a year later. I've known Josh for a year now. Today is our friend anniversary. 1 year ago we met today.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. Reach out. And if you know the purpose is EB students and hey, America, now you know what Texas feels like. Because remember, we always got them first and we got to keep our beautiful babies. Now they're all over. And these are the
Yes.
kind of strategies that you all need to help out our EB. I don't know. We're called EL. We're still called ELL somewhere else. We're called everything. But in the end, it's about language acquisition. This is a great opportunity for you to learn. Reach out. I'll put it on there's something going on with my chat part. I'll work on it right now, but we'll put out that information. Thank you very much, Esperanza, for being here, and I'll see you at the conference soon.
Thank you. You guys are
Hi,
amazing.
Esperanza.
Bye bye. And now we
Alrighty.
have our awesome guest coming in to the show. I'm almost there. And to our panel, which is Dr. Seuss in the Schoolhouse. And we've had three.
Episode 99. You got to make sure you mention that,
Oh,
Josh.
98. Hey, next week, number 100. 100 live consecutive shows. 100, baby. And I asked Mr. Google about that. Only 6% have this much of all podcasts. Only 6%. But if you want to see other Dr. Seuss in the Schoolhouse, check out episode 14, 78, and 91. And without further ado, our current educators, our current authors are right here. And let me see what's going on with the chat. Stick, Moreno.
Oh my good, I love this show. Again, this is not our first show. It is our fourth Dr. Seuss show because it's just a big popular podcast that we get to talk to authors that have written children's books. So I'm super excited to be amongst all of you today. But let me just be honest with you guys. Some people just don't know who you guys are. And we got to start with the basic first. We need to let our audience know who are we and what led us to where we are today. So, Miguel, just because you're my friend, I'm going to start off with you, okay? Give the audience a brief background on the different roles you've served in education and which one was your favorite y por qué? Like, why was it your favorite?
Of course, as a teacher, just like all of my colleagues here, I started as a teacher. Dr. Moreno then went on to become assistant principal, director of multilingual programs, Title III federal programs, and then finally executive director. But of all the programs, the principal role was my best one. Principal role, because that's where I was able to implement the real change. But it was also about the teachers. And I went into a campus or school improvement, and the teachers are the ones that make the difference. And that's why I learned the best things, but also the best uses of the programs and how to align from the school to the district. But of all roles, it was the principal role that best prepared me for everything that I do now.
Awesome. And what level were you principal? Elementary, middle, high?
Elementary, I did middle school as an AP. And then my principal years were 11 years in an elementary level.
Awesome, with the little babies. Awesome. That's the best time, right? When the babies are still small. It gets harder when you go up the ladder, let me tell you.
It gets challenging, but it's doable. I did enjoy my time, but where I learned the best was in the middle school. I fell in love with the kids. I just fell in love. But my calling was in the elementary. But But even middle school was just really, it was just amazing, amazing.
Yeah, I spent most of my time in middle school, and people are afraid of middle school. I don't know what's wrong with the middle school people because it's the best group of people. And they're just kind of in the middle.
It's
I
big,
love it.
big elementary kids.
Big elementary kids, absolutely. Well, thank you, Miguel, for being with us today. How about you, Rich? Talk to us a little bit about the different roles in education that you've served, and which one was your favorite, and why.
Yeah, my name is Rich Tiz. I am the proud principal of Yardville Elementary in Yardville, New Jersey. And I started my career as a fifth grade teacher. I was hired on August 29th to start on September 1st. So it was a crash course. But I served as a fifth grade teacher for several years, a basic skills teacher, an instructional and technology coach, a supervisor of curriculum, a director of curriculum. And when I was in those central office roles, I found that I was missing the kids. So I kind of gravitated back toward the principal role. And I am currently in my 10th year as an elementary principal. So I would say that's probably my favorite of the roles, just being with the kids and teachers on a daily basis, and really, getting in there and getting to see what they're doing. That's awesome. So
Awesome. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you, and I'm sure for you to be there for so many years, you must absolutely love it. Because I know
absolutely.
I was a principal for 20 years, and that was the best job ever. So awesome. Thank you so much. And Dr. Chris, how are you, sir? Talk to us.
Doing well. Hey, great to be back again. My name's Chris Yoakum. I'm currently the chair of the Department of Teacher Education at Fort Hays State University, which is in Western Kansas. I guess, I started many years ago now in the K-12 system. I was at the time what we called an ESL teacher. I know, as Josh said, it has different acronyms now, but I started as an ESL teacher, then finished my career as a high school Spanish teacher, went into higher education and taught bilingual and foreign language methods and did study abroad with students and different things. And I'm in my 10th year as being the chair.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate. While I've loved everything I've done throughout my career, my current job always seems to be my favorite job. And I really do. I like what I do now because we are working with schools and also preparing the next generation of teachers. So very, very rewarding to be in that position.
And such an important role, because let me tell you, we need more prepared teachers, not just teachers. We need prepared teachers.
Yes.
For the types of students that we have in our classrooms today. These cell phones, let me tell you, are wiring our children's brains in a different way that, we can't teach the way we used to teach back in the day. We have to, we're competing against a very different type of mindset. These brains are kind of being developed in a very different way than they were back in the years. So awesome. Thank you so much again, all of you, for being here this afternoon on a Sunday afternoon as Josh is messing around with with all of this. But you know what? Thank you so much for being flexible, because when we're live, you never know what's going on. So Josh, what's going on, buddy?
I don't know. This is like truly the principalship right now, because I'm dealing with something I have no idea how to fix right now, and I can't call anyone to tutor, because normally the chat's on one side and I control it, but it's not on the one side. I'm trying to move it over, but I digress. That's not part of the show. Hey, Dr. Chris, let's get started with you on this next question. And to everybody that I caught so far, big shout out to our cheerleader and coach, Todd McKeever Cheater. Thank you for being here. Constance Sherrard, thank you for being here. Part of the Fantastic Four family. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who was with Jefe this past Saturday and helped out create and educate past couple of weeks. My sister from South Carolina, where we broke bread with Tammy in South Carolina, and Arcela Austri. Shika Houston is here. Rella Hicks, thank you for being here also. Appreciate you. Like and share. Thank you very much. Chris, platícanos, talk to us right now. Tell the audience who or what made you get into education, and who or what, how crucial how important were your parents helping you reach this point in your life?
Well, reason I got into education, I grew up in a small rural community where school was pretty much the heartbeat of everything that went on. There really wasn't much else to do but school and activities. And my principals, my teachers, my coaches, all of the adults in the schoolhouse were very influential. And I wasn't always a well-behaved student, so they were pretty kind to me. But I was always influenced by them. Always wanted to be an educator, and yeah, I'm a first generation college graduate, but even though my parents didn't go to school, I just knew early on that I was going to go to college. That was something that was expected because, as many people on the call and listening know, it's a very college is still a transformational, generational, improving endeavor, and I think it's worthwhile. So a little bit of why I got into being a teacher and then higher ed, and then yes, I did. I was lucky to have parental and other adult support in my life.
Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Rich, how about you, my man?
Yeah, so I actually I was a political science major in college and graduated with a degree in political science. And um, I had aspirations of being a Major League Baseball player until I was about 15 and realized that wasn't happening. And at 15, what I did is I went back and I started coaching, and that's really how I kind of fell into uh, the teaching profession. So from the time I was 15, I was coaching 6 to 12-year-olds in Little League Baseball. And after I wasn't doing anything with my degree, I decided to go back to become a teacher. So I took 4 classes and got a certificate to teach in New Jersey. And I was wholly unprepared for the first year of teaching, but it was such a learning experience for me. And from there, I just grew every day as a teacher. And so it really, it really kind of came from that. And I think, my parents were there to support me all along the way. So just education is a powerful thing. And I think when it finds you, that can be a powerful thing too.
Very true, and thank you for sharing that. Always that parental support, and that's a tricky question sometimes, Moreno, because we know we've had some guests that give us the opposite end, and you know what, you honor that dedication a little bit more because a lot of them said I had to do this by myself. It's great
Yeah.
way. It's both those things, and that's where we connect with our kids because a lot of kids don't see the light and just hey, I walked in those shoes. I got you. I feel you, joven Miguel.
No.
Bienvenido otra vez. Dime de tu aventura. Tell me about your adventure, sir.
I'm not sure about joven though. But yeah, I'll tell you my adventure. So this is what
Miguel, take the Joven. Just take it.
I'll take the joven. I'm 56 and I feel 36 now. See, now it's not 10, now it's 20, less than 20 years. So I got into education by chance. I major in biology from St. Louis University under a migrant scholarship, and I got my degree. Took me 5 years, not 4, but I made it. Went back to Laredo, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I started working part time in a hospital. Then I saw my assistant principal, Mr. Murillo, and said, Miguel, what are you doing here? Well, I'm just working part time in the hospital. I was only making about $800 a month. It was part time, and then he asked me, "Yeah, I have a degree." I'm like, "Yeah, I have a degree." Like, "Have you ever taught before?" Like, "No, I mean, I wanted to go to graduate school, medical school. Those dreams that we all wanted to do back in the early '90s." And he said, "Have you considered teaching?" No. And I asked him, "How much do they pay?" That was my first question. I needed money. I needed to pay my loans. He said they're paying $1,600 right now. 1,600. I'm like, I'll take it. What do I sign up? Besides, I was thinking, how difficult can it be? So, like you, Rich, I was like, well, how difficult can it be? Boy, my first year, I was like, I've had it enough. I wanted to quit, but then I just stuck to it. I'm like, one more year, one more year. And finally, I stayed there. But really, my education, my parents, they really push education. First generation student. So that to me, that was very, very important. My parents just pushing education when we came into this country. The other thing also, when I started teaching, my the teacher that made a difference in my life was Mr. Ralston, a migrant teacher in Ohio, in Gibsonburg, Ohio. The way he taught, I started using a lot of the skills that he used that made an impact in me. So to me, there was a person that in a way helped me become a better teacher. In education was Mr. Ralston, but the education was really my parents.
Very cool. I love it. Thank you very much. Moreno, stick.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for sharing your stories and how you guys became educators. But now we're going to shift a little bit because all of you on this podcast today are authors of books. And so before we kind of get into your book, I want to ask you another question before we get there. And I'm going to start off with Rich. Rich, name one or two authors you identified with or whose style you emulated while writing your book. And while he's doing that, audience out there, please, who's your favorite author? So please make sure you share on the chat, who's your favorite author so we can see what other books are out there. But Chris, I'm sorry, Rich, we're going to start off with Rich first. Who what name a couple of authors that you kind of like follow and emulated as you were writing your book?
Yeah, so I think the two biggest influences on my writing would have been Seth Godin. So he's kind of a marketing guru, but he has wonderful books. He has written a blog post every day for the past like 20 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And his writing is really simple. So I love trying to be as short and concise when getting that message across. So he would definitely be an influence on my writing. And I think the other person is probably Austin Kleon. He's actually from Texas. He has a couple of books. Show Your Work is the one that really got me to start putting my work out there, to start with my 4 o'clock faculty blog and really getting that information, which led to my first book. So I'd say Austin Kleon and Seth Godin are probably the first two who come to mind.
Awesome. Thank you so much. How about you, Miguel?
I think for me, it started when I started with books and writing. My first one was I was the tribute author to the book called Principles in Action by Mark French, Ryan Sheedy, and John Poshik. I was very involved, and I'm still very involved in Twitter. They were looking at all the nice things happening in my school when I was in Laredo. So they invited me, hey, we want to know what you're doing. So I contributed to the book. So that was the first one. It was called Principles in Action. And pretty much it means like, get out of the office, go to the curb, like cafeteria. It's one of those things now that it's changing. Like you have to be visible, you have to be out there. So that was the original, those three authors. The next one, my leadership role has always been Simon Sinek, like Eat or Sit Last. So I learned a lot of good things, leadership skills there, And also the other author that I admire and that I follow a lot, it's Claudia Romo Edelman, the author of the stories that she collects from people, resilient people, called Hispanic Rising Stars. So again, she collects stories, but they're very, very powerful. And that's, to me, that's what inspired me, part of what inspired me to finish my book also. So those three authors or those three books are the ones that I really follow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Yoakum, who is your author of choice or authors?
Well, yeah, first and foremost, and this goes back over 25 years, John Maxwell. Anything he has written, I don't know if I've read all of his 100 books, but just really speaks to me. The other authors that it doesn't matter what they put out, I'm buying their book. A couple more that I think are influential. Brene Brown, wonderful stuff on vulnerability, on just working with other people. As Miguel said, love Simon Sinek, and then also big fan of John Gordon.
Okay, awesome. Some big names there, some heavy hitters. That's awesome because guess what? That's how we inspire ourselves, right? To write these amazing resources that we need to continue because we have to sharpen our own minds, especially when we're principals. Because how do we provide feedback to our teachers? How do we provide wonderful keynotes like Miguel, right? when we need to also kind of freshen our own minds and our own kind of thoughts so that we can support others across this country. So amazing. Thank you so much for sharing some of the authors that you guys follow and have emulated as you wrote this particular book.
So a lot of people that I've spoken with want to jot down their thoughts, their ideas. Don't talk about the actual book right now. We're almost there, okay? But what inspired you to become an author? So what there was something, there was a nugget, an experience, an exchange. Algo pasó. Something happened that you said, I gotta put pen to paper. Yes, I said it. Pen to paper, not AI. I'm still fighting the Terminator. I will not allow Arnold to come down. So what allowed you or what inspired you to do pen to paper? And for aspiring authors, when did you find time? So don't talk about the book in detail yet. Just you want to. We'll get into that next. But what motivated you, and how did you find time? Because all of you have families, all of you have full-time jobs. It's fácil. It's not easy. Miguel.
I what inspired me, Josh, and Pano, was the after my dad passed away from COVID in 2020. My dad, he was in the Mexican military and he wanted to go to college, but I started finding out a lot of things and he never talked about it. But my mom, after he passed away, was sharing a lot of intimate things about my dad. And it was very, very powerful. So that's what inspired me to write my book after the passing of my dad. The time again, I just had little nuggets here and there. I started jotting down on my journal everything that my mom was telling me and things started to make sense after he passed away. I started to put all the, all the times that I spent with him. Like now I finally understand what my dad was trying to tell us. He was always writing and in quotes and in direct messages, but now they made sense. But it only happened after he passed away. So that's what inspired me to write the book called "Finish the Journey," Josh.
Wow.
And when would you do it again?
In between, but actually I finished it. Actually, I finished when I retired from education because it is a lot of work. That's the only time in which I was able to finish it. All the time, and every time I would go to conferences, to all these bilingual conferences, leadership conference, I kept saying, book it's coming, book it's coming. Well, it was 1 year, 2 years. People were telling me, again, when are you gonna get the book out? It's like 2 years. I'm like, guys, I'm really gonna finish it this year. So, but finally, I did finish after I retired and I was able to spend the last couple of months, and it came out on January 14th of this year.
Okay, thank you for blessing us with that story, Rich.
Yeah, so I think I was inspired to write just by trying to learn. So I think when I attended my first ed camp and had the opportunity to meet with other educators who were doing amazing things in their building, I wanted to share out as much as possible. So I started a blog, and that was just the journey at that point. Trying to share out what I was learning, trying to learn from others, and it all kind of slowly morphed into a book. And I think I just enjoyed the writing process. So I really think that's where the inspiration came from, is learning from other educators and what they were doing and wanting to share my own journey and knowledge with them. As far as writing, when I'm in the process of writing for a book, I typically wake up around 4:30 a.m. So I do the majority of my writing in the morning, prior to everyone else in the house getting up. So if I can get in a good, 45 minutes to an hour before I'm, packing lunches and getting book bags ready and all that stuff with the kids in the house, then, that's normally when I get most of the majority of my writing done in the morning.
Thank you for sharing that. No pain, no gain, baby. No pain, no gain. You gotta put in the time. 4:30 in the morning. And to everybody out there, I don't want to mess with these buttons anymore. I wish I could put your. You guys are putting some great information on the chat. I know I can't see it on the other side because I'm on my phone trying to see if you could. I apologize, but it happens. Stuff happens like that right now. Chris, platícanos.
Well, never, probably like a lot of authors, never knew that I would write a book. Although once you get into higher ed, you are a little more cognizant about doing research. Um, my I have 2 books out, a couple more kind of in the works, and what started it for me, and I think a lot of authors would agree, to some extent, we write the books that we wish we would have had at one point. And my first book was on to help higher education leaders. And a cool story. It started on me taking notes on a napkin on the beach in Costa Rica with some friends. They were telling me, hey, you have all of this good advice and these ideas about leadership, and I didn't think so. And we started listing them, and then one thing led to another. So I would say it's the ideas that you want to share with people. And then I find time, it really depends. I write a lot, so to speak, in my head on my note apps, a lot of times when I'm at the gym working out. And so by the time I sit down, I pretty much have a good idea. But a lot like Rich, I've identified I'm best for writing in the morning. And so I will just carve out time when I'm kind of in, finish my book mode.
Thank you for sharing that. And you know what? I've learned with a couple of years under my belt that us as educators that have some time and experiences, we just throw out stuff like we expect everyone to know. Yet there's a huge exodus in education, and there's a bunch of newbies, even though some of them are seasoned from industry. So, Rich, tell everybody what an ed camp is.
Yeah, so an ed camp is it's also called an unconference. So the idea is you are showing up and putting up topics on a board and really learning from everybody else. So nobody is showing up with a canned presentation or really any idea of what they're going to be talking about that morning. And the schedule and the sessions are really dictated by the people in the room and the knowledge in the room. So, you can throw a topic up of something you want to talk about, behavior, discipline, professional development. You can ask a question if you want, and hopefully get a lot of answers from other people. So it's an awesome opportunity to get together with other educators and learn. And it's very real, right? It's very real learning that's taking place in those sessions.
Wow, Rich, I just got hired. That sounds like a great opportunity for me because I just came out of industry. Where can I find one?
Yeah, so I think it's edcamp.org. I think has listed all of the different ed camps around the country. I know for a long time we had a lot in New Jersey where I teach and am an educator. So there's a ton around the country though. So I think it's edcamp.org where you can find those.
Thank you for sharing that. You see, that needs to go out there. We think everyone knows. Not everybody knows that kind of stuff. Todd McKeever Jeter, those are great authors you're talking about. We could see your chats. I just can't post them right now. I could see that. And Esperanza, thank you for your comments right there. Jefe, welcome, Principal Cafele. I'm still digesting that lamb and that ribeye, brother. I think I still got it like in the upper intestine.
Oh, my. We don't want to see that.
It's right there, Moreno. It's just on the side, on the side of my big belly. Jefe, thank you for being here today. Stick, Moreno.
Hi, Josh. You make me laugh. Oh, my. Guys, this is the best part because we're going to talk about our book now. And guess what? We're going to go ahead and get started with Chris. Chris, we're going to start with you. Okay, so let's describe your book.
Yeah.
But the way I want you to describe it is I want you to tell me what's your favorite part of the book. And kind of show your little, if you have a cover or a picture, or if you actually have the book, so that people can actually see the cover. But talk to us, describe your book, and what part is your favorite?
Okay, well, I wrote a book for teachers, for teacher leaders, anyone in education. Here you can, let me see here. You should be able to see it here. You don't have to leave to lead. Sorry.
With your. Yeah,
there
with
we
the
go.
background. There you go. You
don't have to leave to lead, and I can give you the link. So it's called You Don't Have to Leave to Lead, a practical guide to teacher leadership, or you can just go to cjleadership.com and find my books. My favorite part, My favorite part of it is more holistic, but I wrote a book that is developmental. Yes, I'm in higher ed, and yes, I can write as a researcher. My favorite part, though, and I've tested this already because I taught the curriculum for 6 years, is that I wrote a book that teachers have said this is accessible and I can use it tomorrow.
Awesome.
And it meets you where you are at. Yes, there's research in it to support my claims because I think that's important. But by
Absolutely.
and large, think of this as professional development in your pocket or your phone if you read on Kindle. These are developmental things that it doesn't matter if you're a new teacher, experienced teacher, even if you're an administrator looking to adopt this mindset for your building. My favorite part, what I'm most proud of, is that it is very useful and applicable and ultimately is designed either directly or indirectly to help kids.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think Josh is going to talk to you a little bit more about your book in just a minute. But let's move on to Miguel. Miguel, talk to us about your book, sir. Tell all the exciting things and show us a copy of it. And what's your favorite part? Oh, míralo, míralo. Awesome.
My book is called Finish the Journey, and I chose that title because it goes back to really about my dad. My dad was in the Mexican military. He wanted to go to college, but when you're from Mexico, you don't have the palanca, the way we say it in el norte de Mexico. You don't either you have the connections or the money from affluent families to become officers, or you don't. He was just a soldier in el cuartel in Nuevo Laredo. So he couldn't. So he got married, joined the Bracero program. So it's like a journey, starting from when he wanted to go to college in Mexico, then started working as a bracero in the bracero program. And then we moved to the border town of Nuevo Laredo. We grew up there. Finally, brought us to the U.S. As immigrants. So we started working in the fields as migrants. So that's why it's finished the journey. And when so I went through a whole system of through the migrant program, federal systems, SNAPs, food stamps, homeless, all the federal programs that sustain our students in our schools. So I'm a firm believer of those. So the book really, the best part is just the uplifting, the support that our schools bring to first generation students like me. Great teachers, great support systems. So that's the best part. But also within the book, I give also advice to entities, whether if it's universities, public schools, advice on how to best support our students, and not only migrant students, but we're talking about our EB students, our disenfranchised students, our students of color, our students that historically do not apply to college. How are we supporting them based on the systems that we have? And I'm giving the advice based from my principal role, director, and executive director. It's like, are you using your federal funds like this? Are you doing this for our kids? Are you providing the support? So those I'm also giving advice throughout. So it's also a framework to support our students. But the best thing is really it's finished the journey. When I graduated back in '93, my dad did tell me, "Gracias por terminar. Now your new journey begins." And he said, "Thank you for finishing the journey, Miguel. Now your new life begins." Now, of course, I didn't know what it meant. I was just happy I graduated. Tell me, because in our culture, when you say you're that kind of with watery eyes, it sticks for you forever, and it's stuck with you. But I found out later on what he was trying to tell me, that I was the first one to finish the journey, and he said, so in a way, it's like finish the journey, Miguel. So I was the first one to finish it. It's a very inspirational book for all students and educators and parents, but it is targeted towards our disenfranchised students, students.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you were talking about the Bracero program. It's funny because when I was doing my research for my dissertation, my chair says, you have to talk about the Bracero program. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And I don't know how that relates to my topic. And she says, you have to talk about the background. And the background goes back to the Bracero. That's why I know so much about it, because I have to research all of that. So.
And when I spoke about my dad's Bracero experience, I took what he went through and other uncles that went through it. I know we have the history and we see the pictures there, being sprayed and so on. Well, I put in there what the actual people went through it. That's just kind of a version that looks like that. It was a lot worse than what we see in the picture. So
Oh
it
my
was bad. It
goodness.
was bad the way they went through it anyway. But yeah.
Well, congratulations. I love that you got to tell your story as well as providing some valuable insights as to how to support our students because you lived through it. So
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much again and again for your words. Last but not least, talk to us. Talk to us. Tell us a little bit about your book. What's your favorite part? Rich.
Yeah, so this is my book, Autopilot: Practical Productivity for School Leaders. And I really wrote this for the school leaders who are overwhelmed, right? There's a ton on our plates, there's a ton added every day. The tagline I love to use from the book is um, run the school before the school runs you. And I
Nice.
think the practical part of the title is the important piece is and my favorite part of the book is the strategies that are in there. So how you can tackle your email on a daily basis to make more time for yourself, how you can master your time and energy, how you can delegate and learn to trust others to really take on some of the other roles, whether you're a school leader, a building leader, a district leader, even a classroom leader, how you can delegate to students as well. So it's really about all those practical productivity strategies and how people can find more time to do more meaningful things within their classroom or within their schools.
Awesome. Josh, we have three different kinds of books here for three different kinds of, target areas in a school. So I love it. So if you're not liking and sharing this right now, I need everybody right now. Just do it right now. Just like and share it because you guys have some amazing, amazing books that many, many people need to learn about. So please like and share it right now. Share it with your network because guess what? Iron sharpens iron. And you're also sharing it with your own niche and your own network. And so it's important for you guys to like and share it so that the algorithm kind of picks up and more people can hear about your amazing resources.
That exactly put there Rich's book. Check it out. I know Dave Burgess is pushing it a lot, also past guest of the PGP podcast. And right now, so we have three distinct books. And this pretty much covers a large array of our audience because that's who we are, the PGP podcast, large array of the audience. So I ask you, when you were writing this, one of you said, I think it was you, Chris, who said, I needed a book that I needed at that time, at that moment, right? You needed to have some kind of idea on how to guide you, someone that had already walked on the fire for you and is willing to tell you, don't do this. Hey, Rich is still walking on that fire, baby, because he loves emails. I know he enjoys emails as much as I do, being in the chair. So he wrote about that. So I'm asking you, starting with you, Rich, when you have this book and you were writing it and you had the purpose for it, who is your market audience? In other words, when you put pen to paper and not AI, pen to paper, and you said, I'm writing this book so that so and so could buy it for so and so, and they could do book studies about this. And what's your focal point? What's your main idea? Just let's dissect that frog a little bit more from the last question.
Yeah, so I think it started with conversations with other school leaders, other educators who are struggling, right? Those who are in fields, they're dealing with the fires every day, and that's really what my book is about. It's putting systems in place so that you can really work around those fires. The fires are going to happen no matter what, right? We've all been in the field. Something is popping up every day when you are a school principal or a district leader or even in higher education, right? Something is happening every day that suddenly wasn't on your to-do list, and now it's destroying your to-do list. So it's really about putting those systems in place to become a better educator, to become someone who can do more meaningful work within your school. And I think that's really what it was. It was those conversations I was having with other educators are struggling, right? How can I take the things that I do, to help manage my time and my energy and transfer those over to the people who need them, and also listening to those people to figure out, okay, what can I do that can help me within my role as well.
What's been the early feedback, Rich?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there who need it, right? And I think the people who have bought the book and who have used some of the strategies, and I think the inbox is probably the biggest one. So I've heard from a lot of people who are using some of the strategies in there to kind of tackle and tame the inbox beast. And those are the people who I think are able to do a little bit more with their day now.
Yeah.
Well, area superintendent, buy that for all your principals.
Let's do
A principal, buy it for your group of APs and department heads. Then you set some time aside, you call in some subs, you break down some chapters, you go around and you talk about it, or out of your pocket, area superintendent, out of your pocket, principal, you buy pizza or lasagna and you have it after work. You create a better bonding on learning, because breaking bread is the best way to build community and learning. So
And you know what, Josh? This is a great time, because guess what? It's end of the year kind of thing. And so there is a couple of little bit of money left over sometimes that you can do that, or just take it out of your pocket, like you said. But this is a great time because summer is coming. And this is a great time to start doing some PLNs and some PLCs and some book studies.
And I know not all of you have spent all your Title I money. Stop it. Don't lie to me. I know you have a lot of Title I money. Stop sitting on it. Use it for these type of activities, because maybe you got an EB population, EL, ELL, LEP, whatever we are now. Miguel, what was the purpose, brother?
The purpose of what? Of what, Josh?
When you got the book, who did you want to give it to?
Oh, the book. I'm sorry. Yeah, the purpose.
Miguel.
The purpose of the book, it's really for our first EB generation students going into college, our disenfranchised students. It's not only for EB students, migrant students, but generally all students that fall, like you mentioned, their Title I are equal these students that are historically disenfranchised. Within the book, I identified some frameworks looking at the data that we have out there in our schools, that a lot of our students are EBs, first generation migrants, historically disenfranchised students are not attending college. The numbers are still lacking. So within it, identify best practices. So it is mostly for the high school, middle, high school, but also for our universities, also as a college student. So it is usually for that. And part of the trainings that I do within the book at region centers, I'm training some of our federal persons that work within the schools, like migrant educators, bilingual educators, principals, coordinators, parent liaisons that work with our students that fall under our titles, where it fits Title I, Part C, Title III, our immigrant students or our Spanish-speaking students, and even our McKinney event to that fall under Title VII. I'm doing full-day PDs at some of our regions here in Texas and Region 1. But the framework, the training is coming from the book. And they're ordering the books from my book. It's on Amazon. They're ordering from Amazon because we're going to dwell into the book and do the study and really identify part of the gaps and come up with plans in place to make sure that they implement and improve their outcomes for the following years, Josh.
So if you're able to manipulate that Title III at your campus, every district is different with Title III. But I know you got Title I money. You could get some of those books for your parent-teacher night that's coming up right now.
Mm-hmm.
You could call in that coffee with the principal, and you could do a reading out there and have your scholars read to their parents.
Yeah.
Mira. You could do all that kind of stuff with his book right there. Or you can meet with some administrators who don't know what it is to be an EB student. Trust me, there's a lot of you out there. And it's a good way on understanding from the other side of it, because that way you could better connect with your students. And that kid right there, he might not know English, but let me tell you, in Spanish, in Vietnamese, in Swahili, he's a scholar. He's a top 10 kid. And because they don't know English to your satisfaction and their accent is nice and strong, doesn't mean that they don't have the potential to become that scholar at the university level. And how do you do that? By having that type of book. but having that bridge. And what's the bridge? The book, connecting with parents, with their kid to become that next level scholar.
Hey,
Chris,
Miguel, is it available in Spanish?
I'm working on Spanish. As a matter of fact, I was looking for someone to translate it, and I was thinking, wait a minute, I used to be a multilingual director. Spanish is my first language. So, I was like, well, because of the time, I was thinking, why am I asking someone? I was gonna hire a Spanish teacher. She was very busy, and my wife says, Miguel, you used to be a multilingual director. Spanish is your language. Like, okay. So I started doing it on my own, but I'm writing in such a way because in California, where I do a lot of work with our migrant programs, our EB programs, a lot of the directors want it for their parents, which are Spanish speaking. So I'm working on it, but I'm reusing the Spanish that's spoken on the border, things that are critical for population. I'm not using the Academia Real de España because
No.
will never understand it. So I'm using words like el jefe, palanca, ama, apa,
Ándale, that's
things
it.
like that are relevant to our population. And
I love it. I wanted to make sure that.
Hey Miguel, I think we just lost South Carolina and Pennsylvania right there. So let's get back. let's get back together right here, right? But shame on you. I'm gonna tell Dr. Jose Medina you didn't do that, so he's gonna give you a ándale.
Te va a regañar.
Yes.
Chris, talk to us.
Well, I had the fortune with my second book. I backed into the topic of teacher leadership. I was asked to teach a special topics class, and because of my interest in leadership, I had heard of teacher leadership, and I'm just going to be upfront as a former teacher. Anytime I hear a PD topic or a flavor of the month, I have some natural skepticism. As a Spanish teacher who was in the schools during No Child Left Behind, I've sat through many PDs that were peripheral to my classroom, I'll just be honest. But what I found is I felt embarrassed that I hadn't picked this up sooner because, I written on leadership, I speak on it, I train people in higher ed. This book, the reason I wrote it is because while there is not a cure-all for anything in our schools, the things that the research has told us empowering teacher leaders affects are the things that every school district is interested in: student success, faculty morale, teacher retention, culture, climate, core values. And it is not one more thing. It is a mindset. And whether you are confined to the four rooms of your classroom because the culture you're in will not adopt your mindset, or you're in a district that'll adopt it wholeheartedly. I wrote this because I knew there was value, and we work so hard on preparing our teachers and helping them in the classroom, which we should. But oftentimes they fail to realize not only do they have the qualities of a Fortune 500 CEO inside of them, they do that every day with kids. Mm-hmm. But when they leave that classroom, they also have to be a good colleague. They have to be a good community member, and they got to be an advocate for their profession. And so in a very developmental way, in the style of the authors that I mentioned previously that have influenced me, that's why I wrote this. So current and future teachers, and even current and future administrators, because I teach this as a class every summer and I'm doing a book study on it this summer, I know that it adds value. And so I wrote the book after I started teaching the concepts.
Got it. So right there, hey, principal, area superintendent, if you got that little group of future assistant principals, you buy that book right there. Or if you see that Michael Jordan, first year teacher, that's putting in the work right there, that's the type of book for you right there. Mm-hmm. So, hey, Miguel, what's the early feedback you got from your book? Early feedback?
I'm getting some feedback. I'm getting some feedback on the book, Josh. Basically, again, most of the feedback that I'm getting is from our migrant populations, from people that have read it, from universities. Most of the feedback that I get is from keynotes. First generation camp students. I just came back from Texas International. Some of fact, Rich, I'm gonna be at State College, Penn State, over there in a week and a half with the migrant education of Pennsylvania. But it will be held at Penn State, so go Needham Lions. So that's where I'm getting a lot of the feedback and the work, and of course the keynotes, Josh, that I'm getting from.
Beautiful, Chris. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Chris,
I've been fortunate. I published with Road to Awesome. Shout out to Darren Peppard. I've been really fortunate. The state commissioner of education for Kansas gave me a positive review. A couple superintendents of the year. More importantly, teachers and acting principals. Some of those reviews are on Amazon. So I've just been really, humbled and blessed to have had some really good formal feedback, which,
Oh,
reinforced why I thought it was important to write the book.
Very cool panel. Very cool, gentlemen. I love it. It's all about the future of this beautiful profession of ours, the profession that creates all the other professions. Mari, stick.
awesome. Guys, we're almost coming to the very end. Okay, we have one more question after this one. But this one's a super easy question, and I'm gonna have Miguel start us off. Okay, so Miguel, are you gonna author another book? Are you thinking about it? And if yes, what's the topic? And like, what do you tell people like who want to write a book? Like, what advice do you give to them? I know we talked about when do you write books, but what would you say to those people?
One of the things that I tell people, because I specialize resilient stories, educators like me that have gone through really through the same journey as me. It takes courage to write about being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
leadership. In the book, I do share a lot of things that I never told anyone. I just felt that to me was like a big relief because even what I went through as a migrant student, as an immigrant, it was pretty rough. It was a pretty rough journey, very, very rough. And it scarred me throughout. And then I was insecure in high school, even in college. So I write about within the book, I was trying to find myself, and it took some courageous conversation with my dad to
Mm-hmm.
make me find myself as to where I fit in this society. I grew up in the 80s, Generation X, and it was very, very difficult to fit in. Very difficult to fit in as a migrant student. Yeah, I agree with you. I was like, I wanted the mall, the rock, but hey, I was a poor migrant working the fields. Like, I wanted that, but I couldn't because of what I was doing. So I do write about the feelings of what I went through. But Marie, really, what the book is when I talk to people, sharing your journey, being vulnerable. I always tell people, share your story so it will not be forgotten. And I got that from my wife when she told me, why don't you write about your dad, the story, Miguel, so that the story won't be forgotten. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I do these things, and it is within the book that we need to share. But also, I think someone mentioned Brene Brown as one of the favorite authors. I love it. How can I have forgotten? Because my book has a lot of quotes of Brene Brown that she talks about owning your journey. When you own your journey, and I ran away from really my background for many years, so I started to own it. Then you get to write the ending. So Brene Brown also inspired me a lot when I read her book, Dare
Awesome.
to Lead. But basically, Marie, that's what I tell people. My next book, I will be collecting stories of resiliency, stories like from either migrants or any educator that has gone through something difficult, and yet how they made it similar to Claudia Romo Edelman, which they send me the stories. I will help them put it together and so on. And I'm going to help them become the first contributing author and for them to be published authors. So I'm going to
Oh,
be doing that. Yeah.
that is beautiful, Miguel. I love it. The fact that you're highlighting other people's stories and how they overcome, right? How they overcame this whole, you know, this crazy world that we live in, but highlighting them. That is so amazing. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to reading your book today and this upcoming book that you have described to us. So thank you so much. How about you, Chris? What you have an upcoming book? Are you going to write another one? And what would you tell others that want to write a book?
Yeah, well, I have one in press. I'm co-editing it with a colleague of mine. He's also a former teacher, superintendent. It's called Profiles in Educational Leadership. So we reached out to people across the country and asked them
Nice.
pointed questions. Also working on a book. I want to write a general leadership book. And then also with a colleague working on one for hiring practices in higher
Oh,
education,
that's a good one.
because it's very important. My advice, everyone has a book in them. Start. And if you're sitting at the table, write on a napkin, pull out your phone. Momentum is the key.
Yeah.
Start. Even if you're saying, I'm going to write 3 sentences a day, you do that over a year, you're going to have more than you realize. So
Yeah.
we all have a book in us. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not worthy of writing a book. and get it out there, because if it's important to you, it's going to be important to other people.
Awesome. Awesome. Great advice. Let me tell you, I'm going to shout out to Sean Gaylord out there, who may be listening on the Breed broadcast, hopefully, because a year ago, he wrote a couple of things on a napkin with me. And he said, this is something that you need to be working on. And I took the little, I have the napkin, believe it or not. It was at the NCMLE conference last year when I wrote it on the napkin. We wrote it together. And guess what? I think I said at the beginning, I'm on chapter 3. So you know what? It's working. And you're absolutely right. We all have a story to tell. And I'm super excited that this show actually provided me the inspiration to actually put pen to paper, like Josh says, and I'm where I'm at today. I haven't finished it yet, but hey, it's coming along, and it'll be born one day. And last but not least, come on and tell me, my friend, what do you have another book coming up or?
So I've written 4 books, all in the education vein. 2 on professional development, 1 for new teachers, and this new one with practical productivity strategies. I absolutely love the process of writing, so I definitely have some more books in me.
Awesome.
I'm thinking right now about a book that would kind of be more for a general audience outside of education as well, titled "Be More Boring." And it sounds awful, but what it really is about is defeating hustle culture, living a little bit more simply, and living a more fulfilled and meaningful life. So I'm hoping to put something together in the next 6 months or so and get it out to some agents and see if anybody's interested.
Awesome. What advice do you give to people who want to write a book?
Yeah, so I'm gonna follow on Chris's coattails there. It is about starting, right? The best time to start was yesterday, and since you didn't start yesterday, the best time to start is right now. So if you can find 5-10 minutes, there's a wonderful social media gathering in the summer called 1,000 Words, and the idea is that you're writing 1,000 words a day. My last 2 books I've written that way, where I write 1,000 words starting in May and June. And if you can write for a month, you have a book. So it's really just about getting started and getting your ideas out there and sharing them with the world. And as Chris said, everybody has a story. It's just sharing it with the world. So I would encourage everybody to do so.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Josh. This is amazing. I love it. I love everything about this podcast today because I learned so much. I have my paper, I have my pen, and I'm writing things down.
And you gentlemen have just inspired Constance Sherrard to get it going, Constance. Let's get that book out of Mississippi. Let's make sure it happens right now. Real quick, fill in the blank question. We're going to start off with you, Rich. Very quick, and then we're going to go to our lightning round. Oh, and Jefe tells that story also, that he was inspired and he finished his latest book, Principal Cafele, and he wrote it within 1 month. Mm-hmm. And so that's the one that he loves the most. You just got to get to it. Just do it, as Mr. Nike says. So fill in the blank. Rich, hey, educator, the rest of the semester, I want you to
be intentional.
Chris, hey, educator, the rest of the semester, I want you to
give yourself grace.
Miguel, hey, educator, the rest of the semester, I want you to
you can do this.
All right. Here we go. The lightning round. We're at the close, and it's the Échale Ganas lightning round. Ganas GP. Because the only thing that connects every Hispanic is one word. We're not a monolith. Our foods are different. I just barely learned about papusas a couple of years ago. I didn't know about
papusas, Josh.
I didn't know about that. When I got to North Dallas, I found out about all that stuff. We're not we talk differently. We use the same word in a different context. Though our speed, oh my God. Boricuas and Mexicans, we can't talk. I don't know. We just cannot. And Cubanos, we just can't talk. Our speeds are totally different. Everything. We're all all over the place, but one word does unite us. One word, one Cuban grandma, one Mexican grandma, one Guatemalteca grandma can yell, échale ganas, mija, en la escuela. It doesn't matter where. Or ese papá, when his kid is about to stop the penalty kick, le grita, he yells, échale ganas, mijo, pon ganas. That's the only thing that unites us. And so that's the way I want you to answer these questions. Ready, Rich? We're going to go with you, my man. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Lightning round, lightning round. Give advice to a new teacher.
Every decision you make should be in the best interest of a child.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
Sue Weeks, she told me the same thing. Make sure you're making decisions for kids.
Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you. What's their name and their title?
Jay Billy, principal, Bear Tavern, New Jersey.
Great guy. One person. Name one person the audience should follow on social media. What's their handle?
Katani Tony, National Principal of the Year.
Amen. True. Great podcast. When you were in elementary, what luxury item did you want to purchase, sir?
I wanted a Trapper Keeper, never got it.
Oh.
I'm sorry, brother. What was the first live concert you saw? Why that group or that person?
Metallica, and I've seen them 17 times, so love that band.
Nice. I envy you. Which book changed your life? Who's the author?
Show Your Work by Austin Kleon.
What is your favorite sci-fi movie or sci-fi TV show?
Stranger Things, watched it with my kids.
How can the audience get a hold of you, your book, the other 3 books today?
4o'clockfaculty.com.
Love it, love it, love it. Here we go with you, Joven Miguel. Give advice to a new teacher.
Stay the course is worth it.
Read a note, an email, a text, or a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
A message here from my former parents in Spanish. Mr. Castillo, gracias por su liderazgo. Por usted, mis hijos están en el colegio.
Love it. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you. Name and title.
My wife, Dr. Ana Gonzalez de Castillo, Assistant Superintendent.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media. What's their handle?
We spoke about this one, Dr. Jose Medina. His handle and X, it's Jose Medina Jr. 89.
Right. When you were in elementary, what luxury item did you want to purchase, sir?
I wanted the members only jackets that I couldn't afford.
What was your first live concert that you saw? Why that group? Why that person?
Well, grew up poor. My concert was shared back in 98, 99. That was my first concert in 98, 99 with Cher.
Which book changed your life? Who's the author?
Actually, Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last, throughout my leadership journey.
What is your favorite sci-fi movie or sci-fi TV show?
Star Wars, man.
How can the audience get a hold of your knowledge? Pick that brain of making those crucial border schools A-rated. How can they get a hold of that knowledge in that book, sir?
At MiguelMigrant.com or my Twitter, my ex handle, Miguel Migrant.
Y para terminar, joven Chris, it's
gracias.
your turn, brother. Give advice to a new teacher.
Hey, you have superpowers. You can do it. Most people can't do what you do every day.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
A few weeks ago, a student said that I had inspired her and she models her teaching after me, and that meant a lot.
Woo! Eso! Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you. What's their name and their name and title?
You know what? Jennifer Sandberg. She was my high school Spanish teacher, and she's still teaching and doing a great job.
Beautiful. Name one person in the audience you follow on social media. What's their handle?
Well, anyone on here, but I also think you all, if you don't know, I'll give Darren Pepper a shout out. Darren does great stuff, and follow him. You won't regret it.
When you were in elementary, what luxury item did you want to purchase?
I wanted the name brand Walkman, like the name brand. I didn't get it, but I wanted it that said Walkman on it, okay?
What was the first live concert you saw, and why that group or person?
Because I got in free. It was at the county fair, and it was Charlie Pride.
All right. Which book changed your life? Who's the author?
Other than the Bible, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell.
What was your favorite sci-fi movie?
I'm a Star Wars fan.
How can the audience listen to your podcast? What's the name of it? How can they get a hold of you and say, I want to know how you teach future teachers, sir?
Well, just go to cjleadership.com and you will have all of the links to get a hold of me, learn more, listen to the podcast. And if you want to be on the podcast, shoot me an email. I'd love to have you on it.
Well, tell them what the name of the show is.
The podcast is called the Department Chair Leadership Podcast, but it's not just for department chairs. It's to train any leader in education or beyond. And Josh has been on there. It was a great episode, and would love anyone's input or support on it.
Love it. Thank you, panel, very much for being here. 99 shows, and that's Dr. Seuss in the Schoolhouse, number 4, numero 4, and more to come in the near future, because that's what we need to do. We've got leadership shows, preparing teachers for leadership. We've got EB. All of these topics are it's just a total array of what we do every single last day when you send us your beautiful children, the future leaders of America. And we need to learn from each other. People that have walked on fire for this, and they don't want us to walk on that same fire, because it does burn. It does burn, and it's our job to make sure we support each other, because iron sharpens iron, baby, and we're here to help each other. You're not alone, Nebraska. You choose to be alone. You're not alone, Iowa. You're not alone, Maine. You're not alone, Nuevo Mexico. We're all in this together, because you know what? Our kids are moving around. They're going from California and they're coming to Texas. They're moving from New York. They're going to Florida. They're going all over the place, but they still bring the same thing. And you know what? The COVID thing has not gone away, baby. And this is how we learn from each other, because every day we interact. Every single last day we learn from these mistakes or successes, and this is how we do it, by sharing it on free stuff. You're broke. Texas is broke. I know your education system is broke. You ain't got no money. Back in the Jurassic period, you could send 5 people to Boston, and they all had their own room, and they used to pay $300 per night at that hotel. That is gone. That is gone. Today, you've got this right here. You've got podcasts like what he just said right now. You got this podcast, you got the Fantastic Four, you got all of Edutopia, Education Week. You've got all of these different things that are free. You choose to be alone, so don't be alone. Join us on this journey. It doesn't matter what us is, either a podcast, education, Edutopia. The authors of these books, they're willing. And let me tell you, 97% of all educators will reach out and are there to help you. Those 3%, they're very special. I've learned already. They're very special. It's not what they come across as. They're very special. But you know what? 97% is a good odds that you could reach out on this stuff and stop putting it down, because it's great stuff. Connect on whatever social media. Most of them are on X or LinkedIn. Reach out and they will help you. They will reach back to you, because they know what you're going through. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And you know what, Moreno? Episode 100. Next week, 100 live consecutive show. Live. I'm not recording. All my flaws and all my EB dyslexia is coming out, because you know what? It's about talking from el corazón aquí. And let me tell you, next week, vamos a hacer tamales. Vamos a hacer tamales. Well, if you can't relate to that line, there's a comedian, Joan Rivers. She used to say, "Can we talk?" And you know some nonsense was going to come out, because when you make tamales, a lot of nonsense come out as you're smearing the masa. You don't know what I'm saying, Pennsylvania. You know, it's okay, Iowa. We know you don't know about the masa and the corn, Scott. But we're going to be saying some stuff that you might remember from Arsenio, things that make you go, So there's going to be some topics. We might not have an opinion, but we're going to put it out there. Teacher dress code.
Oh, that's a good one.
Should all English 4 teachers always keep English 4 and not give it to the rookies?
I like that.
Should brand new teachers become department heads?
Oh, that's a hot topic.
Can an elementary principal go to a high school the next year, never have been in high school? Those are things that make you go, Panel, join us next week. We're just gonna, hopefully I could post your comments. That's the whole purpose of that thing. I arranged the whole thing, so I'll try to fix it. Panel, say goodnight to everybody. Thank
Bye,
you for
everybody.
being,
Please
thank
don't
you
hang
for
up,
being,
panel.
thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I love you. We'll see you for episode 100
100.
of
Woo-hoo.
PGP Podcast. Fantastic Four. Love you. See you next week.